Hey everyone, and welcome. We are taking a look at a ranch in Slime Rancher. I'm joined by Jeff Cork.
One of GI's slimiest editors.
Oh, I'm Joe Juba, by the way.
Another one of GI's slimiest editors.
We are, that's why we're on this, is we are the slimiest.
It's kind of our thing.
So this, I reviewed Slime Rancher, went up, the review's up on our site right now. You can read it. I gave it an 8.5. And I really enjoyed this game for a lot of different reasons. And Jeff, I think you in particular would also like this game.
It's got slime in it.
So that's it. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
The end. As I explained on the podcast this week, also, part of what's interesting about this game is that it captures a lot of pieces that I like from various games, but it does, while at the same time doesn't feel like it's a just like an assembly of, other people's ideas.
Like a weirdo Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's got some sort of farming elements to it. So, I've got, even though the focus is on slimes, I've got a couple different chickens here. I actually have a silo that I've been keeping chickens in.
As you do.
Yeah. So, see, throw them in there.
So, backing up way back.
Okay, let's back
Where are
up.
we, Joe Juba?
Okay.
Is this some kind of planet?
So the basic premise of Slime Rancher is that you are on a faraway planet.
All
You
right.
have this plot of land that you basically can like build into a thriving ranch.
Yep.
And the way you do that, the core to your money making is slimes, and specifically what's called plorts, which is basically what they poop.
Okay.
So these are little like auto feeder collectors. So here's a plort.
Okay. So it's like a little shard.
Right. So when you feed a slime, they plort, and then you gather those plorts, and then you sell them.
Okay.
Whoops.
So you got a little bit of like an upgrade path. We've got catching animals.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And each of these, like my pins here have been upgraded. So when you start, they just look like little normal squares, but you have to purchase upgrades for like high walls. You have to purchase upgrades for the roof on there.
Okay, so but when you first start off, like they could bounce out, and you'd have to track them down again. And, Okay.
Yeah. So here, we'll make this a little tour of the ranch first.
Okay.
So here's your basic home. This is where you start out. You go here to like sleep. There's not necessarily a reason to do that. You basically go here when you get emails. The little bit of a story that's in the game is sort of told via emails that you're getting.
Okay.
Over here these are all the different varieties of plorts that are currently in the game, and these are the prices they go for.
Okay.
And there's sort of a market to show that they're, what's currently the most valuable, what's trending up and trending down, and how you want to sell it. So like ideally, you want to wait until a plort that is of a high, for instance, there was a time recently when this plort, the quantum plort, was worth like 100.
Oh.
So I could sell them now for 64, or maybe I could gamble and like wait and see if it gets back up to 100 again sometime soon.
And how often does the market reset? Is it like
I think
a
it's
daily thing?
I think every day.
Okay.
It changes a bit, but it's not too like. I've never seen a drop super drastic. Like it doesn't go from 100 to 60 in a day.
Okay. It's a pretty stable marketplace if you're into plorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's this main area. This is where you start the game. So you start out with these 4 available plots, because you don't have to put slime pens here. You can put gardens or silos or whatever there. And in fact, that's what I did over here.
Okay.
So this is when you get a fruit, when you like turn a plot into a garden, you can plant it and then harvest it for a bit.
Okay.
So what I have planted here, this is actually a weird one. I have phase lemons planted.
Okay, presumably that's what the quantum slimes like to eat?
Exactly.
All right.
See, you're catching on. But for most of these, when you plant something, it just drops its fruit and you can harvest them.
Okay.
Phase lemons are weird because they exist in a different reality.
Okay.
So in order to get them, you need to shoot the phase lemon tree with a different kind of fruit.
Okay.
And when you hit the tree with a fruit, it turns the phase lemon into an actual thing. So I'm shooting pogo fruit at the tree, and that's how you harvest phase lemons.
And is this something that is clearly communicated to you, or did you just stand there looking at this shadowy tree for a long time before?
The first time that I tried, I was like, well, because every other tree drops them.
Right.
I was like, what the hell? Where are all my phase lemons? And then in order to find this stuff out, you go to the Slimepedia, which then you go down and read about phase lemons, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how. Okay. Then it says on the ranch, it tells you, how these things work.
Okay, so reading is a strike against this game.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So I think the next thing we'll do, I would recommend. All right, so this is the first area that you start in. I'd recommend unlocking this part of the ranch next.
Okay.
It's called the Overgrowth. So basically, as you collect slimes, as you feed them, and here, in fact, I'm going to do that first. As you feed them and harvest plorts,
yes,
you make money, and then you use that money for various upgrades. Eventually, you'll get enough money to start upgrading other things. But here we will feed these guys some. They like carrots, I think. Eat it. Oh, they're too happy right now. They're well fed.
Are they like stress eaters? Is that what's going on?
Well, they kind of have levels of happiness, right?
Okay.
So it's like when they're well fed. This guy looks like he could eat.
He could eat.
There we go. So he ate, and now he plorted.
Okay.
See? And the important thing to note here, so when you feed one of these guys, he just spit out 2 plorts.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw, he spit out a pink one and a blue one.
The blue one, right.
And that's because these particular slimes are crossbreeds between pink and blue, or pink slimes and rock slimes.
You monster. What are you doing, Joe?
So, and these are crossbreeds between bomb slimes and pink slimes. These are crystal slimes and honey slimes. And these are phosphor slimes and tabby slimes.
So you could have way more types of slimes than what are represented right now in these 4 pens.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could have... So each of them are, like... So honey slimes and crystal slimes are individual things. But I just have a pen of, like, the crossbreeds.
Okay.
The reason that I like to do the crossbreeds is because when you feed them, they spit out one of each of their, like, constituent pieces. And when you feed them their favorite food, they spit out double. So they spit out 2 of each. Which is how to do it and to get more profitable. The way that gets to be a problem, and you know what? I'm just gonna risk it here. I'm gonna show you why you want to beware of crossbreeds. And this is the sort of thing that is a lesson just best learned through experimentation. This is how I figured it out. But so these guys are made of bomb and pink.
Okay.
So if a crossbreed eats a plort from anything that isn't bomb or pink, then this happens. They turn into tar.
Okay.
Which is bad. So they basically destroy other slimes, and the only way that you can fight them is by shooting water at them. So if you don't keep that well contained, if that accidentally happens, it can basically wipe out everything you've got, which isn't catastrophic because you can. It's not too hard to go out there and collect some more slimes and do it again once you've gotten them the first time around. But still, it's a hassle and it feels like a disaster in the moment.
Right.
So anyhow, once you've built up all that money from harvesting plorts, you can upgrade to other areas. So here's the Overgrowth. And this is a place that I have set up that's basically just like where I'm harvesting, or like I've just got vegetables growing over here right now. But these are plots that you could use for slimes or anything else.
Okay.
So right now I'm growing it's kind of boring. I'm just a bunch of silver turnips right now. But I have grown these like mint mango fruits, onions. I've already got 100 of those in there anyway.
So something that I admire about you as a player, Joe, is you're like a weirdo min-max type guy.
Yeah,
so you like to exploit systems in-game economies and that kind of thing. So it seems like, is that what you're doing here? These silver carrots, are they extraordinarily rare or something?
So the reason that I'm doing that is there's basically every slime has their favorite food, like I talked about. So if you feed slimes their favorite food, you get double the profits.
Okay, so you've just catered to these types.
So it's like I have a slime whose favorite food is silver turnips, so I needed to grow some of those so I could feed them to him and make that profitable.
Okay, I'd like to apologize. I called them carrots before. So
oh no, there are carrots also.
Oh boy.
But so like an example here would be, let's see, am I full? No, I'm not full. So you upgrade your pens also with things that like auto collect plorts that are in there. This is an auto feeder. So the quantum slimes love phase lemons. So I can just fill that up. Maybe I can get one to eat if they're not full.
Oh, and it'll constantly just automatically feed them, so you don't have to babysit it.
Yeah, so if you load up the auto feeder with phase lemons, it just spits them out periodically, and then the things produce. So that's the optimization part here, is that like if you're smart about it, you can just like keep slime supplied with their favorite food, so then they're just producing a lot of plorts, and then you're living large.
All right.
Yeah, so that's that. And then there are some slimes that have weirdly specific requirements. So like these fire slimes can only live like in the ash of an incinerator, but for the ash to stay there, you need to continually burn things. So I have a stack of carrots, which are plentiful in there, that I can just like regularly burn up so that I can keep them going.
So Joe,
yeah,
if the movie Citizen Kane taught me anything, it's that extraordinary wealth does not necessarily make you happy in the long term.
Okay.
So you're earning all this money, Joe. What are you doing with it?
So you're spending it on upgrades.
Okay.
So, and that includes things like these like turning this into a garden costs money.
Okay.
Unlocking this area, this overgrowth, costs money. The place that we just were is actually a separate area that I unlocked. The docks down there, it costs money. And then that's a teleporter. We'll get to that in a little bit.
So then, how was this gated up? Was it such a way, like in the universe, was it like a turnstile that you could have just jumped over?
No. There's like an energy field or something that keeps you from going in there, of course. Which doesn't necessarily make sense, but that's all right.
What are you going to do?
So that's that side, and then on the other side is the Grotto, which is another area that you can unlock and check out, which has additional plots that you can unlock. So here's where I keep my puddle slimes, and they produce plorts just by being there.
So is there cool stuff to explore in this when you unlock a new area? Is there kind of a sense of discovery there, or is it primarily like, okay, now I've got some more real estate for my plort operation?
Yeah, I mean, it is. This stuff is just... I'm mainly just focusing on giving a little like tour of...
Yes.
This is where you come home to. And sort of what everything you're doing funnels into. But... beyond here, we're gonna go sell some plorts. What you're doing to gather slimes and gather resources so that you like can plant and prosper is going out and exploring the world, which is sort of I don't actually hold on. I want to see. I forget what actually likes the silver parsnip. So you can do this.
Mosaic slime.
Oh, actually, I don't have any of those on my ranch at the moment. But so.
I believe you. It's in Canada. Is that...
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, what you end up doing? So, like, let's say I feel like I've done all my chores here at home. You want to go out into the world.
Okay, so like this gate is pretty much
the world.
Yeah,
so now I'm in the world.
Okay.
And out in the world, there are wild slimes just sort of bouncing around. So, like, this is why it's not a big deal. Is if like the tar monster destroys all my slimes. It's like, oh, there's some pink slimes, some phosphor slimes that I can just like grab right out here. Some of them are harder to find, and like, oh wait, where did that guy go? I didn't see him. I missed the lucky slime. Oh well. So yeah, that's.
So can you come into harm? Can something attack you, Joe?
Yes.
Tar?
Yeah, the tar attacks you. There are what they call feral slimes. That can also attack you. But if you die out in the world, and again, we're talking about games that this game reminds me of. Here's a feral slime. Wait, yeah, it is. It reminds me a little bit of Minecraft sometimes in the way that, like, you know how in Minecraft you're like, oh my god, I'm deep down in a cave, I'm far away from home, I've got an inventory full of like interesting stuff that I want to get back home. this game captures like that sense of exploration sometimes, which is
you're kind of pushing it close, to losing it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also an element like that reminds me of like Stardew Valley, and like, okay, I've got like farm chores that I just like a routine. I get up in the morning and I'm like, go and harvest some carrots and feed those to whoever wants them, and stuff like that. And then I know this game is not as popular as those, but you played Viva Pinata back in the day.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. I love that.
It's got a little bit of that, in that like your slimes aren't going to die if you don't feed them every day. It's a little bit of just a little. It's kind of an easygoing, sort of farming simulator. So this is an area called the Indigo Quarry that has a bunch of different slimes and stuff that you could get. But once you get what you want. You sort of learn where the teleporters are. There are a handful of those in the world.
Yeah.
And now you hop in there and we're just back home again.
So it looks like that the commodities board that was over by your house kind of had the price for the plorts. Those are representative about how many different types of slime there are, or more added as you discover them, or like are there a couple dozen?
Those are the plorts that are currently in the game.
Okay.
I say currently in the game. I don't know exactly what all of the developers' plans are for adding things, but like this game has been in early access for over a year and a half.
Okay.
So what this game is now is the result of many sort of updates and additions and new areas and things like that. And I know that they have plans to continue expanding the game going forward. I just don't know if that includes like brand new areas, if that includes new slimes, or if that's just things like, I know that they're talking about putting a map system in the game and things like that.
Oh God, it does not have a map system.
It doesn't, and that's one of my few complaints about it.
Okay,
is the map? A map would have been helpful, especially considering the last area is very large and kind of difficult to navigate.
Yeah,
and I forgot to even mention this. There's personal upgrades. So like you ask what you spend your money on. You spend your money also on like installing a jetpack, increasing your health, making your dash boots better.
Okay.
And once you've sort of reached that level of like, okay, I feel like I'm personally upgraded pretty well. I feel like my ranch is, going well. I have all the slimes I want. They're producing regularly. If you're into like post-game stuff, there's this area, which is a lab that I'm not going to get too far into here, other than to say like it's expensive. Like there are like things that are rare resources that you need to go out there and hunt for and stuff. But this is basically your key to like post-game progression.
Okay.
If you want to start making your own teleporters, you go and you do it there. But that comes at the cost of like having to go out in the world and like find the rare stuff and like unlock treasure pods that are sitting around in the world and things like that.
Okay,
so that's sort of there's
some stuff to do in the long term once you've gotten comfortable.
Right, and that's what's so interesting about this game, or one of the things, is that like it sounds so simple at first. It's like, hey, it's a slime farming game, and it is,
but it's not your typical slime farming game.
But it's like it just has a lot more depth, I think, than that sort of like than the cute aesthetic and premise would suggest.
Yes.
And for someone like me that gets into this sort of like I like to see numbers go up, and I like I like playing I like optimizing games and things like that. So I got very into this.
This seems like a nice, relaxing listen to podcasts. And just kind of, I don't want to say turn your brain off, but kind of settle into a routine that is equal parts muscle memory and waking sleep.
Yeah. But it's still entertaining. This isn't the kind of game that you want to. I don't want to say that you're like trying to tune it out.
No. But I mean that as a compliment. Kind of in much the same way that at this point, like Diablo 3 has become that to me.
Yeah.
Which is like a super satisfying, relaxing thing.
But low impact also.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this look at Slime Rancher. It's available on PC right now. It's also available on Xbox One. It's free if you have Xbox Live. It's like
it's the games with gold.
Yeah. So I highly recommend giving it a look. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Jeff, for being here.
Hey, slime on, Joe.
Slime on.